Hi guys, I'm Tracy Ward and this is my podcast. Welcome. Today's podcast is called Time to Focus. I'm going to go through 30 things that you need to start doing for yourself. We need to be moving forward, including me. Some of us get a bit lost. We focus on the wrong things. We make excuses for our actions. Or worse, we blame other people for actions because that's the easy option. It's time we woke up and smelt the coffee and dealt with things head on. So today I'm going to try and go through all the things that would help with that. Now I'm talking from experience for this. When I went into the Fast Fix clinic, I'll admit now I'd lost my path somewhat there, and I was on a huge downward spiral and on self-destruct. I really was. I'd never been so ill, so low, and so fed up and angry with myself. I'd got myself into such a state and my health was just getting worse by the day. If my daughter wasn't at home, I'd just been a recluse. I was just in such a bad place. Completely different person now. So I know what these things feel like. The Fast Fix clinic gave me a kick up the backside, and it was a kick that I needed, and I feel so much better for it. So let's see if we can do this together and keep moving forward. The first one, make sure you spend time with the right people. Speaks for itself really, doesn't it? We've all got people in our lives, or have had them in our lives, where they just drain you physically and emotionally. You don't need it. If they're not giving you anything positive into your life, you don't need them in it. It's as simple as that. They're like emotional leeches and they're sucking the life right out of you. Just get rid. You wouldn't believe the difference it makes to get these people out of your life, and it is easier than you think. Facing your problems head on. It's no good putting something in the back of your mind that you know you need to deal with. Firstly, it causes you undue stress and then escalates to comfort eating in some people. It did with me. Events that you're stressing about need to be dealt with as soon as possible. You will find the thought of doing something quite often is actually worse than actually doing it. And once it's been dealt with, you will feel so relieved. Having it hanging there in the background all the time, it just eats and eats and eats away at you. I've been there so many times, and I thought to myself afterwards, what the hell was I worried about? Honest to God, if you actually stop for a minute, take a few breaths, then take control of the situation, you will actually feel empowered. You will feel empowered and you will feel so relieved when you realise the thing you were stressing about wasn't anywhere near as bad as you thought it would be. So what were you worrying for? Just do it right now. Just do it. Get it out of the way. You'll thank me, I promise. Being honest with yourself. This is so important. If you can't be honest with yourself, you are living a false life. Are you pretending to be someone you are not just to try and impress someone you don't know? It's ridiculous because a real you will come out eventually. Then what will happen is heartache and sadness. If you truly believe in yourself and what you stand for, you will feel so much better and people will feel much better around you. You can't live a lie. Integrity is key here. Be honest with yourself. You've got to make your own happiness a priority. This is something I should have done years ago. I've spent my life constantly making other people happy instead of myself. It's absolutely insane. I've been in so many relationships I knew were not working, but I carried on with it because I didn't want to see them get hurt, which is stupid. But you are happy to hurt yourself by being in a broken relationship, suffering in silence, being miserable. How stupid is that? Why do we do that? You seriously need to make yourself happy first and foremost. Then you can make others happy. Sometimes you just need to be selfish. And this isn't being selfish in a bad way. This is being selfish in a good way. Your own happiness is vital to be healthy emotionally and physically. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And that is what we're doing half the time. Being yourself genuinely and proudly. This goes alongside being honest with yourself. You need to be yourself, your true self. If you want to shave all the hair off your head, shave it off. A bit extreme, I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at. As long as being the genuine version of yourself does not hurt anyone, then do it and be proud. Don't live your life with regrets. It was the same with me. I desperately wanted pink hair. I went through a pink hair phase, and I was wrestling with the decision about it and thinking, oh, what would other people say? Blah, blah, blah. I did it though, and I loved it at the time that I did it, which wasn't for long. It didn't stay pink for long, but I'm glad I did it. You don't have to conform because of your age, your gender, or anything else. You know, be yourself. Noticing and living in the present. We all do this. Worry about what happened yesterday and worry about what is going to happen tomorrow. So just think for a minute about what happened yesterday. You can't change it, can you? Not at all. It's done. End of. So stop sweating the small stuff. Same goes with tomorrow, because tomorrow does not exist. What exists is you and you right now, this very second. Live in that moment and make the most of it. My mother lives in the past. She is still caught up in the moment my father left her for someone else. Yep, it was a horrible experience, but holding on to things like that is not going to be good for anyone. It really isn't healthy. If it is something bad that happened in the past, you need to be able to accept it, forgive, and then move on. Because if you don't, you will become bitter, judgmental, sad, and a whole other list of negative things, and that is not a nice place to be. You have to remember that life is about having lessons. We learn from these lessons, and it makes us a better person, but only if you let it. Think of it as, it's kind of like going to university, isn't it? You learn your lessons at primary school. You probably make them again when you go to college. Get to university and you sorted them all out. You just got to keep learning. And value the lessons your mistakes teach you. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you will just keep repeating them over and over until you do. I've done it myself. Each mistake you make is something very valuable. When you realise you're beating yourself up about something, just stop and think for a second. Think about the mistake. Think about why you made it. And think about what could you have done differently, and how are you going to move on from it. Being more polite to yourself. A lot of us are quite rude and horrible to ourselves, putting yourselves down in front of other people as a way of coping with something, but it's so wrong. When I was at my largest, I would constantly put myself down and turn my size into a joke, but inside it wasn't funny in the slightest. It hurt. I was hurting myself. I'd laugh with everyone else, but inside I was in turmoil and embarrassed, and my self-esteem was non-existent. You need to start being kind to yourself. The kinder you are to yourself, the happier you will be, and it will have a knock-on effect on the people around you. So cut yourself some slack. Enjoying the things you already have. A lot of us sit and think, I've got nothing. So-and-so has an amazing sofa, I wish I had one. So-and-so's got the best car, mine is a piece of shit. The list goes on and on. But if you sat down and looked around yourself at what you actually have, you were really quite blessed. The majority of people have more things than they need. So take yourself through each room if you had to, and just take in what you actually have. It will be more than enough to live your life and be happy. Things are just that, the things. So what if you don't have the latest Porsche? As long as the car you have takes you from A to B, then on the scale of things, it really doesn't matter, does it? Give your ideas and dreams a chance. Now, I'm living proof of this. The first thing you need to do is sit down with a pen and a bit of paper. You can also, I've got a book, you get it on Amazon, it's called Rediscover Who You Really Are and Where You Want to Be, using my list of 101 questions. And list all of your dreams and ideas. This book has loads of different questions in, and you can just sit and go through it. It just helps you focus. The things you have wanted to do and to try. If you stay focused on your goal, you'll get there. Ultimately, it's up to you and no one else. These are your goals, no one else's, and it's up to you to make them materialise. These things don't just happen on their own. You have to be proactive here. It's fine saying, I want to buy such and such a car, then just leave it thinking it's just going to turn up on your doorstep. Well, it's not going to. You need to sit and think about what you have to do to get to that final point, and then just do it. Believing that you are ready for the next step. Belief in yourself and your own abilities is so important. If you don't believe in yourself, you just won't move forward. It's as simple as that. People tend to stay just where they are because they're scared of failure and comfortable with what they know. If you are scared of failure, you will never win and you will never move forward. By taking the next step, you're getting closer to your goal, and you won't get there without taking that step. We only move forward in life by putting ourselves out of a comfort zone. This is a huge lesson that I have learned, especially over the past couple of years. I'm currently putting together an anthology, as you know, from my blog. It's a selection of poems written by people suffering with different kinds of mental illness, and basically this is to raise mental health awareness. Now, I'm actually quite shy, believe it or not, sometimes, and I used to have very little belief in my abilities and myself. Now, I knew that to get anywhere with this book, I would have to reach out for help because it wasn't going to write itself. So what I did was send an email to the local newspaper asking if they could run a story about my proposed book and ask people to donate their own poems. Now, before I clicked on send, I tell you now, I was so nervous. I felt sick. I thought I wouldn't get a reply. I thought if I did get a reply, it would be just to say thanks, but no thanks. Then I would end up feeling stupid. So I was putting myself out of my comfort zone there, but I knew that I had to do it, otherwise the book just wouldn't happen. I clicked send, and guess what? The sky didn't fall down, the house didn't collapse. What happened was I got a reply back that day from a reporter who believed in me and my project and wanted to run a story. By the end of that week, I was at the newspaper office getting my photo taken, and my story was being put in the newspaper the following week. What I want you to learn from this is that the feeling we get when we are out of our comfort zone is actually a very good feeling. It doesn't feel like it at the time. You've got to tell yourself that it is a good feeling. And it's not one to be scared of, because that is the feeling of taking the next step. Believe in yourself and take that step, because it is a good thing, I promise you. It's a really good thing. Now, here's another one. I used to be crap at entering new relationships for the right reasons. Seriously, I am the world's expert on crap relationships. With the exception of my husband, I went from one bad relationship to another. I was caught up in this vicious circle that I just could not seem to get out of. Now, I think I'm quite intelligent, but when it came to men, I was making serious mistakes. This is because I didn't have any self-respect. I had low self-esteem. I felt guilty for the breakdown of my marriage and my son, not having his father by his side. I was in effect punishing myself the whole time, until very recently, I have to say. Convinced I wasn't worthy of a good man, I was settled for second best, because that is all I thought I deserved. What I have come to learn, though, is that I don't need a man to make me happy. I've actually made myself happy, and that is so very important. Because now when a man comes along, I will be with him for all the right reasons. I'm happy being me, and I'm no longer needy. If someone doesn't show me the love and respect I deserve, then it's just not going to happen. I'd rather be single than be with somebody who puts me down. Do you know what? They should be happy and privileged to have me. Can you believe that? I wouldn't have said that a couple of years ago. That is one thing I have never said to myself before. You see, I now know I'm actually okay. I'm all right. And I deserve better than I've had. I want a relationship now and with someone I can spend the rest of my life with, to enrich my life and to bring good things into it by sharing it with someone else, and vice versa. Now, give new people you meet a chance. Not everyone is comfortable when you meet someone new. And although I know that the first impressions count, you do need to remember that for a short time, that person could just be really nervous or have low self-esteem, anything like that. It can actually take a few meetings before someone comes out of the shell. Take me, for example. I can be quite shy of people I don't know, but the people that really know me have seen the other side, and I can actually be quite funny when I'm comfortable with somebody. As people, we are multifaceted. We have so many sides, we really do. Different people bring out different qualities in you too. But with people, you can bring out the best side of you. Don't judge someone by the looks alone. People can have some amazing qualities, beauty, and it's true. I know it's cliche, but it is skin deep. What is important is how someone makes you feel. Yes, you can be attracted to someone, and you have to be attracted to somebody, but that can also develop over a short space of time. Someone's personality is more important than the waist size. Competing against an earlier version of yourself. We're all guilty of this, I think. In my head, I can still picture the 20-year-old version of myself. Amazing figure, long blonde hair, strutting her stuff in a white trouser suit and heels. I was like a female John Travolta. I mean, come on, Wardy, those days are well and truly over. I will never look like that again, but then I don't need to either. What you need to be is today's version of yourself, whatever that may be. You can still look hot 30 years on. A lot of it is a state of mind. Funny enough, I talked about this today. Marilyn Monroe could do this. She could walk down the street as Norma Jean and no one would notice her. But when she flicked that Marilyn Monroe switch, everyone knew who she was. There is no need comparing yourself physically or emotionally to that person you were 20 years ago, because that person's not you anymore. You need to be confident in you that lives right now. Compare yourself to no one. Flick that Marilyn Monroe switch right now and strut your stuff. Honestly, I want to see you strutting. Now, cheering for other people's victories. This goes without saying to me. Whenever someone I know achieves something, I'm delighted for them, and I make sure they know that I am. There are a lot of people out there who just get jealous of others, and this is not an attractive quality. Why can't people just be happy for the friends and the family? Ultimately, it comes down to their own insecurities, and that is something you need to try and remember. It's nothing personal. It is their problem to sort out, not yours. Everyone likes to be told, well done. Everyone likes to be told, well done, or get some praise for their efforts. And why shouldn't they? Because they've earned it. Imagine you did something you're really proud of and no one acknowledges it. None of your friends or family. I find that quite sad. True friends and people with beautiful souls will cheer along their friends and be there for them to celebrate. Take a moment next time someone tells you something they are happy about and acknowledge them. It costs nothing. It takes seconds, but it means so much. You've got to look for the silver lining in situations. Again, this is about actively changing your mindset. I'm a great believer in silver linings. You can always salvage something from a bad situation or act, I promise you. The worst case scenario is it's a life lesson. We are meant to learn, and it is how we move forward in the life from that point. Always look for the positive. So many people just dwell constantly on the negative. They just wallow in a pool of self-pity, getting nowhere fast. Some of them can't help it. I know that, because that is how the brains are wired. But what you need to do is be proactive and not reactive. You also need to be able to forgive yourself and others. I kind of touched on this slightly already, but it deserves a point of its own, really, I think, because it is so important to be able to forgive, not just yourself, but others too. I have had a lot of bad experiences in my life, but internally I have been able to forgive every single one of them who hurt me, either deliberately or not, and move on from it. And yes, sometimes you don't forget. However, once you accept the situation and forgive either them or yourself, or sometimes both, you will be happy. I mean, genuinely happy. Holding on to something or someone you can't forgive is just going to have a real negative effect on you. It will infest and infect you like a disease, turning you into something bitter and angry and stressed. These are not good feelings to have, and they have a strong negative impact on your emotional health and your physical health. So think to yourself about people you need to forgive. Find it in your heart to do it. Just as importantly, you need to forgive yourself of any mistakes you've made. If you have truly learnt from your mistake, then it's time to forgive yourself and move on. One thing I used to do years ago was to write on a piece of toilet roll somebody's name in black, and then I'd flush it down the toilet and flush it away, and that was it, gone. So give that a go if it works, you never know. Another way is a bit of visualisation. So if you imagine looking up on a beautiful blue sky and you notice a little white fluffy cloud, put that person or incident into that cloud and find the more you think about it, the blacker that cloud gets. Fill it with all that negativity associated with that person or whatever it is that's happened to piss you off. Get that cloud full of darkness. Get it as black as you can, black as coal, and just visualise it then just floating away until you see it disappear in the horizon and it's all gone. There's loads of ways you can practice this kind of thing. Help those around you. This is something that is extremely important to me, and I know it sounds a bit like a preacher, but I'm not. For me, it's my soul mission in life, and my soul mission come to that. I am on this personal mission to make a difference in whatever way I can, and that's an important part of who I am. You should help those around you without expecting anything in return as well. Helping others also sets off something I call a ripple effect. Chances are, if you do a kind thing for someone, they will go on to do the same thing for somebody else, and so on and so on. These little things can mean such a lot to someone. You don't know what's happening in other people's lives. Sometimes a simple smile or a touch of a hand can have a massive impact on somebody's life. Be kind and be generous and be there to offer support. This is where empathy comes in, because sometimes people are just too scared to say they need help, which brings me to the next point: listening to your own inner voice. Now, I'm telling you here to trust your intuition. As I'm telling you now, your gut never lies to you. You just choose to ignore it because you don't want to face up to the truth of something or reality. I've been there myself, done it loads, especially in abusive relationships. When that little alarm bell goes off, trust it and act on it. If you don't, I can assure you, you will come to regret it, as I did. Listen to your gut. Now, being attentive to your stress level and take short breaks. Stress is a killer. Simple as. And it's a cause of so many problems, physically and emotionally. You need to learn to acknowledge it and deal with it. We've all got different coping mechanisms, but one of them is by taking a short break. This could be anything from going to a walk, phoning a friend, going for a drive, sitting in the garden with a cuppa, drawing, anything. If possible, take short breaks also, as in weekends away if you can. Just get away from the thing that stresses you and just do something different. Or do something that makes you smile and laugh. Learn new things and get hobbies and interests. Don't stop learning. And notice the beauty of small moments. We walk around a lot of the time with blinkers on, we really do. I think I'm quite fortunate because as a creative person and an artist, you tend to pick up on beauty in different ways and in lots of different things. For me, I can sit and watch the wind through the trees and watch those leaves dancing about, listening to and becoming aware of the birds singing around you, noticing the joy in a child's face when they see something for the first time, something else, someone's laughter, someone's smile, the effort someone has taken to do something small for you, but realising the intention behind it was massive. If you think about it, the day consists of a lot of beautiful small moments, but we just don't see them because we simply don't look. So open your eyes, look around you and take it all in. Accepting things when they are less than perfect. How many of you beat yourself up when something isn't perfect? I'm not being funny here, but perfection doesn't exist. Not where you think it should. A lot of people strive to be perfect. Well, that isn't going to work, is it? Because you just need to be the best version of yourself that you can be. We all make mistakes. We all screw up. None of us are perfect. But that is what makes us unique. With regards to doing something badly, as long as you know you have done the best that you could do, then that is good enough. If you haven't, then draw a line under it and just carry on. Work towards your goal every day. This goes without question. Don't procrastinate. You know what your goals are and you know what you have to do to get there. So just do it. If you struggle with this kind of thing, write a list. When you go to bed, write a list of just 3 things that you need to accomplish the following day and do them. I know some people like to write a huge list, but sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming. And when you don't tick them all off, you start beating yourself up again. I used to do it. So if you start with just 3 things are manageable and it will give you a sense of satisfaction because you've done it. Then go to bed and write another 3 things for the following day. Lists, to me, are underestimated. They can really help you to achieve the things you want to. You could even start a bullet journal and let it be something that you do every day. I think I might actually do a blog post about bullet journals because there's more to it than people think, and they are very good at organising your life, and especially if you've got a busy mind like I have, it just tends to quieten it a bit and it just makes you feel more on top of things. Also, being more open about how you feel. Now, we're not all psychic, so we can't tell what is going on with other people. I've been guilty of keeping my sadness bottled up in the past, and I don't talk to people about it, but I am seriously an open book. If someone asks me something, they'll get an answer. I stay true to myself and to them, and I personally don't think there is any other way to be. That's just my personal opinion. There's no bullshit with me. It just is how it is. If I like someone, they'll know about it. I don't mess with people's heads. I don't expect others to mess with mine. This goes back to being true to yourself and to others. The more open you are with people, the more they will gravitate towards you and respond positively. It's also okay to show your vulnerable side, you know. We all got them. Pretending to be made of steel just doesn't work. Take full responsibility for your own life. This is so important. You can't go through life blaming others for your misfortunes. This is your life choices, your actions, your reasons for the actions. So if it goes tits up, it's your doing and no one else's. It is all too easy to blame somebody else for your overeating when really it's you that's putting it in your mouth. We blame others because we don't want to admit it. We've failed or done something wrong or admit to our own insecurities. If you act on all these things I've been talking about, this bit should fall into place. Accept your mistakes, forgive yourself for them, then move on to change your circumstances. Otherwise, the same crap will just keep happening. Actively nurturing your most important relationships. This is not just about your partner, but your children, your grandchildren, your friends, your parents, your pets, everyone that you love or adds positivity and enhances your life. Don't ever take any of these people for granted because life's too short and they deserve better from you. It is amazing to love someone, but show them that you love them. They're not mind readers. Do little things for them. Make them a cake, give them some flowers, send a card. Go somewhere with them, phone them, make something for them you know they will like. The list is seriously endless, but show your affection and make them feel loved and wanted and needed. I think that is so important. And we just take a lot for granted. Concentrate on the things that you can control. Now, first of all, only you can control what you put in your mouth each and every day. So concentrate on why you need to not put certain things in your mouth. Your body needs loving and looking after, and you are the only one that can do that. It is the same for the rest of your life. What can you take control of? Your fitness levels, for one. Your body needs to be able to move in order for you to do the things you want and need to do. Think about all the things now that you can control and stick at it. Cliche, I know, but your body is your temple. It really is. I'm living proof of it. Now, focusing in on the possibility of positive outcomes. You need the mindset of a top athlete. Yeah, I know, sounds impossible, but when they stand on that starting line, what is going through their heads? Well, I'll tell you what's going through their heads. It's the image of them at being first at the finishing line. Nothing else at all. They're looking straight ahead at that finishing line and they are going through it first. They're seeing it and they're feeling it, and it's what you need to do. If you think you've already achieved something in your head and make it as real as you can in your mind's eye, you have the mindset of a slim fit person, it will make that goal easier to attain because you are now thinking as a slim healthy person. A slim healthy person won't want to eat the entire contents of a McDonald's menu. It's just not an option because you're now focusing on the positive outcomes. Failure is just not an option. Think like the person you want to be, and then that's how you'll end up. Hope that made sense. Noticing how wealthy you are right now, and I'm not just talking about money, although you can include that if you wish or you must, but what other areas in your life are you wealthy? You have food, a bed, a home, a family, loved ones, the ability to be happy, healthy, creative, kind, caring, loving, compassionate. These are the things that are truly important. You could be extremely wealthy right now and you don't even realise just how much. I hope today's podcast has given you some things to think about, and I hope it will help you to feel more positive and uplifted about what lies ahead and help you to stay focused. Just keep listening to it over and over and over. The more you listen to it, the more it will sink in and it starts to make more sense. I hope you enjoyed today's post. It was me waffling on, but I think it was all things that are important and things that we need to think about to stay focused and to just keep moving forward. We all get stuck in a rut. So hopefully what I've had to say today will try and get you out of that rut. Any questions as usual, just keep messaging me and I will answer them as soon as I can. Or for the new people, you can also read the blogs, which is on www.tracyward.me, and that's Tracy with an E. And then next week, I think it'll be about diet tips, unless something else has happened in the meantime. So until then, have a lovely time and I'll speak to you soon.